Welcome to Safety in Motion, Hours of Service Training. As a professional driver, managing your time is part of the job. Hours of service rules establish legal limits on how long you may work and drive. These limits are enforceable requirements that drivers are expected to understand and follow. This course explains the key hours of service rules, how they apply to your workday, and what is expected of you when managing your time, your compliance, and your decisions as captain of the ship. Drivers may drive up to 11 hours after taking 10 consecutive hours off duty. Driving beyond 11 hours is a violation, regardless of schedule pressure, customer demands, or how close you are to your destination. The 11-hour driving limit is a hard stop. Once you reach it, driving must end. Staying compliant means knowing your available driving time before your trip starts and planning your route, stops, and customer time accordingly. Running out of hours at the end of the day is usually a planning issue, not an emergency. Managing your time early protects your license, your record, and your ability to continue driving professionally. The 14-hour duty day begins when you start any work activity. This includes pre-trip inspections, paperwork, fueling, or moving equipment. Once the 14-hour window expires, you may not drive again, even if unused driving time remains. The duty day continues to run through traffic delays, customer wait time, loading, unloading, and breakdowns. The 14-hour window does not pause. Once it starts, it keeps running. Staying compliant depends on starting the day with a realistic plan and adjusting when delays occur. Waiting until the end of the shift to manage time usually leaves no legal options. After 8 cumulative hours of driving, a 30-minute uninterrupted break is required. This break may be taken off duty, in the sleeper berth, or in some cases on duty not driving, depending on the operation. The break resets the 8-hour driving clock but does not extend the 14-hour duty window. The 30-minute break is required, not optional. Planning when and where to take it helps prevent last-minute compliance issues and unnecessary interruptions later in the day. Drivers may not exceed 60 hours on duty in 7 days, or 70 hours on duty in 8 days depending on the operation. These limits include all driving time, all on-duty not driving time, and any work performed for a motor carrier. Once the limit is reached, driving is not permitted until hours are regained. Hours come back either gradually as off-duty time pushes older work hours out of the 7 or 8-day calculation, or all at once by completing a 34-hour restart. Cumulative hour limits require looking ahead. Tracking available hours across multiple days is just as important as managing today's clock. Letting hours run down without a plan limits options and increases the risk of violations. A 34-hour restart resets the 60-hour or 70-hour calculation by taking 34 consecutive hours off duty. Once completed, available on-duty hours are restored. A restart should be planned, not forced. Using it strategically helps regain hours without putting yourself in a position where you cannot legally operate. Drivers operating under the short haul exception must operate within a 150 air-mile radius, start and end the shift at the same location, and complete the shift within 14 hours. Accurate time records are still required. The short haul exception simplifies logging, not responsibility. Drivers are still accountable for managing time and staying within legal limits. The 16-hour big day exception may be used once per duty cycle by qualifying drivers. It extends the duty window from 14 hours to 16 hours, but does not increase the 11-hour driving limit. This exception is intended for unplanned circumstances, not routine scheduling. The 16-hour exception is a recovery option, not a planning tool. Using it routinely reduces flexibility and increases compliance risk. Adverse driving conditions allow drivers to extend driving time by up to 2 additional hours when unexpected hazards occur, such as sudden severe weather or unplanned road closures. This exception does not apply to forecasted weather, known construction, typical congestion, or poor trip planning. Use of adverse driving conditions is not automatic. Manager approval is required before the adverse driving conditions option is made available. Adverse driving conditions are narrowly defined. Using this exception incorrectly creates violations that are easily identified during inspections. Personal conveyance allows off-duty movement of a vehicle for personal reasons only. It may not be used to advance a load, position for a pickup or delivery, or avoid running out of hours. Use of personal conveyance is not automatic. Manager approval is required before the personal conveyance option is made available. If the movement benefits the trip or advances the load, it is not personal conveyance. When there is uncertainty, choosing not to move the vehicle is often the best decision to stay compliant. Off-duty time must represent true relief from work. You must be free of all job responsibilities and not performing any activity that benefits rider or a customer. Any work activity, including fueling, inspections, checking in, or waiting while required to remain available, must be logged as on duty. Duty status accuracy matters. During an inspection, your log is checked. If the information is wrong, it is a violation. Accurate logs protect you when enforcement is involved. Hours of service compliance is about control, awareness, and professionalism. Every rule covered in this lesson supports your ability to plan effectively, manage your time, and operate legally and confidently. Enforcement does not see your intent or your circumstances, they see your log. What is recorded is what is evaluated during inspections and audits. When your hours are managed correctly and your log is accurate, your decisions stand on their own. Managing your time is an active responsibility. Knowing your limits, watching your clocks, planning ahead, and adjusting early when conditions change gives you control over your day and helps prevent violations. When conditions, hazards, or operational issues put that control at risk, you are expected to speak up. Tools like Good Catch exist to identify and address issues early, before they lead to incidents or compliance problems. Managing your time, your logs, and your decisions is part of the job. As captain of the ship, how you plan and how you operate determines whether you finish the day compliant, confident, and in control.